Okay, so we are recording and we are live. Let me just add her to the Spanish line.
Yeah, I apologize. My screen keeps minimizing on me.
I'll add you in a minute, Bella. Let me just do the introductions, okay?
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our new, again, backpack series training that we have every month. My name is Vanessa Pollack, and I'm a parent consultant with the Connecticut Parent Agency. And for those who doesn't know who we are the Parents Training Information Center for the state of Connecticut. And by law, every state must have a PTI, and we are the one from Connecticut. Our mission is to empower families and children with disability and development delay of ages 0 to 26 and the professionals and who serves them. We provide telephone consultation, training, and programs, and our goal is to the parents become their children's best advocate, giving them the tools that they need to support their children to help them through their life. Today training is about social skills, how we can use kit cards and prompt to assist problem solving. And again, we have an incredible Beth Ann from UCED. Beth Ann, if you want to introduce yourself, and just remember everybody, if you want to make a comment, please join us. You can put it in the chat. And just remember, we live on Facebook as well. So just keep personal names and, stuff like that private, please. Thank you. And welcome, everyone.
Hi, everyone. My favorite Wednesday.
Don't forget about me, please.
Oh, yes. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Don't forget to assign me, please, as an interpreter, so I can start interpreting.
Yeah, I'm trying to put you there.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Beth Ann Vergine, and I work at the UConn Center on Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. And there I work on all things early childhood. Social emotional development is my favorite topic. I love to work with families and childcare, and just talk about the importance of social emotional development. We do know that children's social emotional development has changed a lot in the last few years due to COVID. So putting these presentations every month is so important to give strategies and tools that can be used at home or in a childcare facility. So this presentation today is we're going to talk about solution kits and talk about ways to problem solve. I know as adults, sometimes we have troubles with problem solving, but as children that really helps regulate children's behaviors when they know how to solve a problem. And it also decreases behaviors.
Excuse me, Beth Ann.
Yes.
Just a quick reminder to just speak a little slower for the interpreter. We always forget about that because they're doing live translation, so it's hard to keep it up if we speak too fast.
Okay, got it. So today, as I discussed what we're going to talk about, the project that we're working on Connecticut that is funded by the Office of Early Childhood is the pyramid model. And that pyramid model is about developing social emotional competence for young children. And so Connecticut is a pyramid state. And so a lot of the work that the Office of Early Childhood is doing is really getting the pyramid model out to childcare, early childhood settings, and also with families, because we want to make sure that children's social emotional development is on track. And then also, how can we work through strategies on whether it's transitions or routines? Today we're talking about problem solving. So every month we do a different topic on strategies that you can use. I wish I had this training when my child was young. So the pyramid model uses evidence-based practice. So we base it on building positive relationships. So when young children have great relationships with adults as well as their peers, it really does make a difference in their development. That they are in a supportive and nurturing environment, whether it's at home or it is at school. So that's all about having routines, having smooth transitions, being able to give children the opportunity for play that is appropriate for their age. And then also providing more individualized supports for some children that need to have addressed of challenging behaviors when needed. My famous thing that I will always say, behavior is a form of communication. So when someone has a behavior, they're trying to tell us something. I'm going to get shirts made with that. So embracing your child's curiosity and unleashing that creativity is also encouraging children to be problem solvers. When we start young, we start with just talking about toys. So whether it's trying to build a blocks or being able to understand that they can tackle problems on their own. So if the blocks keep falling over, we're teaching them how to build them straight up so they don't fall over. We're asking them open-ended questions. So when they are upset and frustrated, what is the problem? What are you trying to do? And what do we already know? And what tools can help us? So I always say that whatever the problem is, we always can find a way to solve it. And so this also encourages resilience, and so children can face those obstacles around problem solving. So whatever whatever age your kids are, we want them to make mistakes, and we want them to understand that we teach them from their mistakes, and that's how we move forward. As adults, we also make mistakes and we figure out our problem solving. So, an example is, we're trying to make dinner, we have laundry to do. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to complete all those tasks in the short period of time that we do that. So how do we do that as adults as we solve the problem is we do priorities. So obviously cooking is probably, and feeding our family is a little more important than maybe clean clothes. But anyway, we're going in a system where we can prioritize what's important. So for young children, when something happens or a mistake happens, or they can't figure out how to do something, or they're struggling, we always say, how can we solve this problem? Let's take the steps how we can figure it out. And that there's always a way to solve it. So really doing that positive encouragement really helps, because we know children who don't know how to regulate their feelings, or they don't understand where this emotion is coming from, may not be the easiest to negotiate with, because they're so frustrated. So how do you calm a child down when they're so frustrated because they're frustrated that they can't fix something?
I have a question, Beth.
Sure.
Any tips or ideas to approach those problem solving for children that are nonverbal?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm going to share with you, as we go through the PowerPoint, there are visual cards that you can make. There's ones that are already made, and then ones that you can make, so that the child has the option of picking one of those problem solving cards. So if knowing the child so well, and knowing that certain tasks that may frustrate them, is then we give them the option with those cards, and they can pick how we're going to solve that problem. So I'm going to share them as we go through the PowerPoint, but that's a great question, Vanessa.
Thank
So
you.
we build an occasional roadblock into an experience. So the opposite of solving your child's problems is making the difficult reasonable, trying to be reasonable, and making sure there is that the solution is possible, and more informed choices that they can have to make it better. So if they are invited to a friend's house and then the friend cancels, so that's serious emotion that's going to come on, because they were so excited to be able to go to the friend's house. Is that an easy problem to solve? No. But what we can do is give alternative choices. Like, I know that Cooper can't come over today, but why don't we go to the park? So giving other choices. So we're going to have some frustration, we're going to be sad, but giving other opportunities of different choices may help solve that problem. But say that you have two siblings that are fighting over the same toy. That's a big problem. How can we solve that problem? Well, that problem is that we can put a timer on, and Cooper gets to play with the toy for the next 10 minutes. And then when the timer comes off, then it's Logan's turn to play with the toy. So there's ways that we can provide them other alternatives as they are navigating through the problem solving. You may end up in a conflict with your child who rejects all your suggestions, which is the most frustrating thing. So if I go back to the story that your friend canceled plans and they're devastated. And so no matter what you say to them to give them other opportunities of things we can do, like go to the park, let's go get some ice cream, or let's call so-and-so up and go see another friend. None of those options are going to work because they're so devastated about that they're not the plans that they had been looking forward to are not going to happen. So now that's really hard sometimes. So I always say that give the child a few minutes, let them let it all out, and there's going to be some residual sadness, but once the child has calmed down, let them cry, give them their space, and then go back and say, okay, so here's some of those opportunities again. Let's get our shoes on, let's go to the park, or let's go on the swings, or let's go ride our bikes. Let's find something to do that even though we can't go play with our friend, there's so many other fun things that we can do. I would say that is the hardest when we can't really solve that problem at the time frame that our child wants us to. Oh, I went past my slide. I'm sorry. Oh, go back. Oh, back. Okay. So, or your child may become dependent on you to solve their problems. Like, as we talk about some older kids, the shoes are tied, or if they spill over a bowl, or they're trying to stack their papers, or they're trying to color something and they're like, I can't draw a balloon, or I can't draw a tree. We tend to jump in and be like, oh, let me draw that tree for you. While in that moment, it's going to make the child feel good, but in the end, we're not creating a confident child. So we want to be able to empower them to be able to solve the problem on their own. And many ways we can do that is we give them choices. So, in regards to maybe the child trying to draw a tree, we could say, well, here, why don't we try a different crayon? Or here, let's get a picture of a tree, and then you can use that as a visual to draw your tree. So instead of us and I know as a parent, I did it all the time. I'm like, no, let me just do it for you. Oh, no, let me, because one, we may not, say they're helping you put away dishes, or, as my child puts every cup, stacks them on top of each other. And my normal thing would be to go fix it. But instead I'll say, is that the best way to stack the cups? Because look what's going to happen when we open the cabinet door, they're all going to fall down on us. So we want them to be more independent. And as they learn problem solving skills, that is a gain toward independence.
I bet the interpreter asked for us to slow down a little bit because he's having a hard time to catch up, I guess. Okay. I know it's hard when we just keep going.
Apologize for me. Another idea that I always include in this training that we do every month is books. Books are a visual for children to learn skills. We have books about feelings that teach us to talk about feelings. We have books about problem solving. And so I put in the screen here some ideas on books that you can use to talk to your child about problem solving skills and what the character is feeling and experiencing, and coming up with ideas that might help in the problem. So one example is Buddy the Bulldozer. That's a great book. Another option is Can I Play Too?, which is another great book. So using books as a way to teach kids about different social emotional problems, whether it's dealing with anger, this is another great way to teach them. And I also recommend you read the book more than once. You can read it every night for a week. And then as the child is getting used to the book too, they're going to tell you how, in this example, Buddy the Bulldozer their child is going to kind of help you, tell you how Buddy the bulldozer is going to solve the problem. So that's another great option, is using books as a teaching tool. Explaining social situations to children are sometimes are harder. And so when we explain those social situations, for example, if someone at school was on the swing set and they wouldn't get off and let your child get on, they're learning, if we're giving them examples, say in books, of ways of learning how to behave during certain situations, it's a great tool to use when we're teaching them. So stories that are sometimes social scripts or social narratives or a story-based intervention, those books really help. Like an example, Buddy the Bulldozer, as he's talking about a problem that he's having. So, and if you're in a childcare center, you can make your own social stories. So if you have, children that fight over the same toy, you can write in PowerPoint, you can do it. Do a social story on how that you could share toys. So that's another great example. Social stories are so easy to make. A great resource that I'm going to put the link in the chat when we are done, is a social story that the National Center for Pyramid Model Interventions, they have a social story about how you can be problem solvers at home. It is in English and in Spanish. So I'm kind of going to go through the slides and show you what it looks like. It's such an easy read that you can do. Also, if you download the book, you can download it in PowerPoint, so you can actually change the words. So here we can be problem solvers at home. You can put, we can be problem solvers at grandma's house. So you can change the book to accommodate what you're, wherever you are. So I asked the children, have you ever had a problem? And I love this because the two kids are fighting and one child broke his airplane toy. Everyone does. Problems can sometimes make us feel sad, mad, frustrated, and confused. So again, it's teaching you about the emotions that you feel when you can't solve a problem. If I have a problem, I can do something. I can try out some solutions to help me with the problem. If I have a problem, first I have to think about it. What is my problem? I have to think of a way to make it better. So here's an example of what solutions or opportunities we can give the child to solve the problem. So the two children in the beginning of the slides were fighting over a toy and they were arguing. So how can we offer other solutions about that toy that they're fighting over? The child that's airplane that broke, let's give some solutions. One, we can glue the wing back on, or we can see about figuring out a way to get another one, or maybe somebody else can look at it and fix it. So giving opportunities, like, I know that you're frustrated that your airplane broke, but let's see what we can do to fix it. So let's go get some glue gun, or we now have crazy glue, which will glue anything in the world. I remember those commercials. What would happen if I tried my solution? Would it be safe? How would everyone feel? So if we solve the solution about the airplane and his airplane got fixed, how happy would he be? Then we give it a try. If my solution didn't work, so with the airplane, if the glue gun didn't work, and next we're going to try the crazy glue, we can just think of more solutions. So we also want to give opportunity. So I see that this didn't work. What else do you think we can try? And you want to give that opportunity to the child to answer. So once they've calmed down and we've talked about, well, every problem can be solved, so let's figure out how we can do it, and give them the opportunity. Well, how do you think we can fix the airplane? So let's be a problem solver. Here's an example. I'm lonely and want you to play with me. Another child took their toy, and then the other child with the plane, he's frustrated. They are bothering me. So another child is bothering another child. Schoolwork is too hard for me. I want to play by myself. I don't want somebody sitting here with me. Or very famous in young children, they hurt my feelings. So we want to use these steps for those problems with the child. So the step one was, what is my problem? Step two is, let's think of more solutions. And what would happen if we did A, B, and C? And then let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, then we try another solution. So young children every day, and as we grow, even as adults, we learn how to solve problems. Sometimes they're the easiest to do? No, but the emotion always comes first when something disappointing happens. Or like an example with the other boy wanted to be left alone and didn't want to play with his friend. So of course that upset him. So here's the example that I was talking to Vanessa about in the beginning of the training. So these, and I'm going to give everyone a link to these. You can download these. You can change the topics of them, and you can and change the wording. And so like this one right here, wait and take turns. So if you're fighting over a toy, you can give them the option, wait and take a turn. Or the other option is get a timer, or you can share the toy. So there's different cards that you can print out and give the child the opportunity to pick the card that works right. So I've worked in classrooms where we had like a little bag and we called it our solution kit. So when there was a problem, the kids would run over to the solution kit and pull the cards out and be like, okay, how can we figure out this problem? And I let them figure it on their own, and they would pull each card out and be like, nope, this won't work. Yep, this might work. And again, here's another thing that could be printed out. You can teach it with children in each of the steps. I used to hang it up on the refrigerator. So when we had a problem, we could go to the refrigerator and say, okay, so let's talk about what the problem is. And then let's think, how can we solve it? And this, so here is a great video about how she is teaching problem solving. I just want to make sure I share my computer sound here. Okay, here we go.
You're gonna make a robot? Talk with Jeremy and see if he's okay with that plan.
Hey, Jeremy, let's make a robot.
It sounds like you guys have a problem. Gideon wants to make a robot and Jeremy wants to make a cookie party. What can we do? Let's think like Peter.
Maybe we can do both.
What do you think about that?
And hang it on the wall for the cookie party.
Will you talk to Gideon about that?
Can Gideon hang it on the wall for the cookie party? What are you doing?
But you guys were trying to decide whether to make a robot or a cookie party picture.
We can make both. Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we had a problem. We said, you wanted to make the robot, cookie party, and you wanted to make the robot. And we thought like Peter and said, why not work together and make both? We used the play together solution, and it worked.
Because that's the uses. It's on my kit.
It is on the kit. There it is, play together. I think we need to celebrate. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hands up.
Listen up.
Hands up.
Listen up.
Jeremy and Gideon had a problem. Jeremy wanted to draw a cookie party on the picture, and Gideon wanted to draw a robot, and they thought like Peter. What did you guys do? What did you say?
We said we can make both.
They used the play together solution to decide to draw both. We need to give them a truck driver hooray. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Honk, honk. Good job, buddies. Great job solving that problem, friends. Those were super friend things to do. I've got a super friend sticker for you.
I'm making a snowman.
Great job working together to solve
I'm
that
making a
problem.
snowman.
You made a snowman?
Make a robot.
You're gonna make a robot? Talk.
So I love this video because one, she gives them the options, you know, strong-minded young children. One wants to, you know, draw, he wants to color. The other one wanted to make cookies. And so how can they do it together? And they solved the problem. She gave it to them to kind of figure it out on their own. And if you look on his wrist, he had the problem cards. So she must have taken like one of those stretchy bracelets and put them on there. So he was able to pull them out and say, wait, we can do both of the things that we want to do. We can make the robot picture and we can do the cookies. And then what better than she acknowledged that they did it together? And what does it make a child excited than getting a sticker and knowing that they became a super friend?
That was awesome video.
I love that video because it shows, yeah, she implemented it into her classroom, and it can be done at home too. You can, when I give you the link, you can print it out and hang it up on your refrigerator, hang it up in your child's room, and give them the option to go over and point to what they want to do. So it's not something that works in a day, so you have to implement it and then keep practicing it.
And the cards, I'm sure, has pictures to it, and that's big awesome for parents that has not such a verbal kid. I mean, those kids in the video, they are able to communicate it, but for the ones that can't have the visual skills, they can still look at the pictures and maybe work together. I thought it was incredible. I love that.
So as I said earlier, behavior is a form of communication. Us as adults, when we're frustrated, it's us trying to say we're upset with something. We had a bad day at work, or we hit traffic, you know, so many different things, or I have piles of laundry and I can't get to it. So it happens with young children too. So when we stop and think about ourselves as adults, or even when we were younger, how we communicate that we're upset is doing something. Toddlers, they can't totally verbalize themselves yet. So a lot of times they'll go over and just hit someone because they want that person to pay attention to them, or they want that person to play with them. So that's their way of doing it. I'm going to put the link to the problem solving cards in the chat in a minute, but this is such a great tool. And I want you, as I saw there's a foster mom on here too. There's great stuff for activities at home for families that you can do around social emotional development. I love how many different things. We named this training called the Backpack Series because in the resources that you will find, there is like a one-sheet handout, and it's called the Backpack Series. And each of those sheets have a different topic. So we're talking about problem solving today. There's also how to develop a routine at home, how to guide a child with transitions. There's nighttime routines. So there's so many different opportunities to learn about different challenges that we have with young kids. I also want to share a great opportunity. I love podcasts. I listen to them in the car on my way to work. And this is one of my favorites for young kids. It's called Little Hearts, Big Heart World. It's a podcast that helps parents and educators introduce like big topics about social emotional learning. So there's ones about feelings, there's ones about friendship, and the podcast it has kids on it. So real kids talking about real situations that they've gone through. So they're preschoolers. It is so good. The gentleman that hosts it is the main person is amazing. So they're really short. So if you're in the car driving somewhere, you can download the podcast and listen to it with your kids. So I'm going to stop share. And then as we talk and ask another question, as we talk, I'm gonna pull up the links that I want to share with you guys. So does anyone have questions while I get these links?
You can put in a chat or unmute it and just ask the question.
If you don't feel comfortable, yeah, definitely put yourself in the chat.
Diana,
Hola,
let me bring the interpreter back, I think.
hola.
And
A channel, you need to choose a language channel. If you want to hear to me in English,
are you back to our meeting, Bella? Go ahead, Diana.
Thank you. Gracias. Tengo a mi hijo de 3 años.
I have my
lo-
child, my 3-year-old,
Hace un momento tuvimos
a few moments ago,
una situación que no,
we
no
had a
supe cómo-
situation that I didn't know how to handle.
Él quería ver televisión en la mañana.
He wanted to watch TV in the morning,
Lo dejara ver un poco. Bueno, ese poco se convirtió en toda la
and
mañana el almuerzo.
it became in the morning. It took the, I think the interpretation is off, and I can hear myself. There's a problem with interpretation. I am off interpretation.
Aló.
Dame un, hay un problema técnico, Diana, ¿me están escuchando a mí? No te escucho a ti.
Hola, ¿me escuchas mejor?
No, necesito que me vuelvan a poner interpretación. Vanessa, somehow interpretation is off.
So what I've heard so far, that Diana was talking about her child. Yeah, watching television in the morning.
You can continue talking and she can translate, she can hear you.
No, we lost her. But I believe she was talking about something with her child watching television in the morning, and that I think she couldn't get him off the television. So if she could hear us, I would.
I think the interpreter is trying to get the question.
Hola. Sí, estoy aquí. Oh, ok, gracias. Entonces, 10 minutos antes de ir a servir el almuerzo, lo preparé, le dije, faltan pocos minutos, cuando veas que mamá sirve el almuerzo, vamos a apagar el televisor y pasamos a almorzar. Me dijo, ok. Cuando ya vio pasaron los 10 minutos, le mostré, le dije, mira, ya están servidos los almuerzos de mamá y tuyo, vamos allá. No, quiero más. Le dije, no, dijiste que era un poco lo que ibas a ver, ya mamá te dejó ver bastante televisión, es hora de almorzar. Y apagué el televisor. Empezó a gritar y a llorar y incluso me golpeaba. Entonces yo le detuve las manos y le dije, no, a la mamá no se golpea, acá en casa no golpeamos, cálmate, yo entiendo que estás enojado porque apagamos el televisor, pero ya es suficiente, es hora de comer. Seguía pegándome, entonces yo le dije, ok, ¿no quieres comer? Retiré el plato de la mesa de él y me puse a comer mi comida. Se vino y seguía a golpearme, entonces le dije, no, detente, déjame comer, siéntate en el sofá y cuando te calmes, vienes a comer. Seguía llorando y me golpeaba, yo le detenía los brazos, entonces opté por irme a mi habitación y cerrar la puerta. Lo dejé afuera y más enojado se puso y entró y cuando le abrí la puerta, que pasó como un minuto, me dijo, estás castigada, no, ¿por qué me cerraste la puerta? Entonces lo abracé y le dije, tranquilízate, estás enojado, volví y le dije, porque apagamos el televisor, pero aquí estoy yo para escucharte, para abrazarte, siempre voy a estar aquí, tranquilo, es hora de comer, porque tenemos que alimentarnos para ser fuertes. Que no. Entonces, como no le puse atención, trajo la caja de los pañuelitos de limpiarse la nariz y los destrozó todos en el piso. Le dije, los pañuelitos no es la solución, los pañuelitos no son los culpables, hay que comer, pero seguí comiendo. Y finalmente le dejé tirado lo que tiró y lo abracé nuevamente y después como que trató de calmarse y me dijo, te llevaste mi comida, ¿dónde está mi comida? Le dije, no, te la llevaste, te la botaste. Le dije, no, está en la cocina porque me dijiste que no querías. Y bueno, ya al momento se tranquilizó un poquito y me dijo, quiero mi comida, se sentó y comió solo. Pero fue una situación que yo no sabía qué más hacer, no sabía si regañarlo, no sabía si lo que yo estaba haciendo estaba bien. Eso fue lo que pasó. Entonces quisiera saber cómo me puedo apoyar en cuando, por ejemplo, este tipo de situaciones que él no quiere y empieza a golpearme.
You muted, Beth Ann.
I didn't hear the English version.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so just to make a fast of the whole story. So the child was watching TV and the mom told him it's time to go eat. Gave
I
him
can't
time.
hear you, Vanessa.
You heard that?
No, because I could hear the translation.
Okay, so then the child got very upset, didn't want to eat. Then mom went and sat down and he was very mad, crying, punching mom. So she started eating and he still continued hitting her. So she went, I think, to her room and closed the door and wait there for a minute to try calm him down.
Perfect.
She just don't know what to do
Thank you.
when situations
Is
like this
everyone
happen.
selecting the correct globe at the bottom? Because there's an echo going on.
Vanessa, what triggered it? Was it the TV?
Yes, because she gave him time to turn it off the TV, and when the time came, he didn't want it. He wanted more. Mom's tried to explain. Well-
Sí, el habérselo apagado, el decirle que ya no más.
Ela disse que não é para mais. Yes, you have to choose the English version. So
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
in the English. I can hear you. Okay. 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 So my recommendation one is it's all about routines. It's all about setting those up for young children. So obviously the trigger of his behavior was that he couldn't watch any more TV time. I think it's great that she gave him warnings that it was time to turn the TV off. So if she went in there and said, okay, you have 5 minutes left, and then it's time to turn the TV off, that helps that transition for him. If you're consistently keeping that time limit of the TV, so say you give him an hour every day, Maybe do a visual timer. He will see that he only has a few minutes left. The behavior was triggered because he wanted to watch more TV. So anything that happened after that was just him having a meltdown. So I would continue with keeping like a really good routine with him, certain amount of time of TV. Then what's next is we have lunch. So keeping that routine intact. And if the verbal warning to him that it's time to turn the TV off isn't working, then maybe doing, the visual where you put a timer up, and so that he sees. And if I'm not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow, but if you consistently use the same strategy every time, he's going to get that, oh, I only have 5 more minutes left of TV, then I'm going to eat lunch. Also, if you say to him, okay, I'm going to let you watch 20 minutes of TV, but after we're done with TV, it's going to be time to eat. Then we're going to do this. So you're giving him the A, B, and C, so he knows what's going to happen next. It's tough with young kids because they do get so engulfed into the TV and that they don't know anything that else is going on. And so if it's in the middle of a show and you're just shutting it off, that's going to, trigger behaviors. Maybe saying, okay, you get to watch one episode and then it's time for breakfast. So then that he knows at the very end of that episode, I have to go eat my breakfast. So keeping that routine very consistent. If you're turning it off and not even giving him a warning in the middle of an episode, he is going to have a meltdown, and that he's going to be very upset. So routine, give him that, you get to watch 2 episodes and then it's time for breakfast. Keep consistently doing that every day, and I think you will see a change. Young kids learn through routines. If they know what's going to happen next, if they know a time limit, it helps them visualize their day and how much time they have. I used to have a little boy who'd be like, how many more hours am I going to be here? He would literally ask me every hour. How much more time do I have? Yeah. Oh, and Jenny just said, have a schedule with pictures. And it seems if he doesn't understand your routine, put up a schedule on your refrigerator of what your day looks like. It's like, so if you're home with him all day, make a schedule. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, definitely. The schedule helps a lot of children because
Yep.
they have no sense of timing.
Right.
Sometimes
None.
I don't know what age Diana, I think she said 3 years old.
Yeah,
They have no
definitely.
5 minutes for them can be a long time.
3 años y 8 meses.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I agree. Was it? Oh yeah. Kayla said boundaries, stick with what you say. Very true. Sometimes we give in, but if we give in, we're ruining that whole boundary. We're saying, okay, wait, no, you can now have another episode. So then they know how to play you and know that if they sweet talk you, you're going to give them another episode. So stick with what you say. What does it say? What you say, do what you do. And that helps. Try it, Diana. Definitely. Make a schedule.
Muchas
And
gracias.
You're welcome.
And I think a visual timer for that
Yeah.
age will be the key. Like the ones, even the microwave, if you don't have one with a little sand or whatever you want to
Yep.
use, or the ones we use to bake a cake.
Yep.
Start teaching them, 5 minutes when it beeps. Sometimes they're gonna still push for a little more, but consistency, I think, will be helpful. Visual and the consistency.
And Diana, I have a 9-year-old and I still have to be like, in 5 minutes, we have to go to here. It's 7 o'clock. You're going to be getting on the bus soon. So you need to go get dressed. It doesn't matter how old, you're always going to give those cues and it helps them. And again, consistency is everything. Any other questions? This is great.
Anybody wants to ask anything or share? They're so quiet today.
I know. But we have a great group though.
Yeah, and I think the visuals that you share on the link that people can change and make their own,
Yeah,
it's
yep.
very helpful too, especially for the kids that can't express what they want or why they are frustrated. Those pictures can help on a daily basis too. And I think before, what are we doing first, then and after, like now, then, and then, at least 3 steps to show them what's happening through their day or that moment. And if you know that, like in that case of the TV, she knows that the TV is always going to be difficult. Try to always, before the TV, reinforce the rule. Okay, we're going to start the timer. When the timer goes off, we have to be good in order to get ice cream after dinner. Always
Right.
try. I think a reward always is a good tool to in the beginning of the teaching the steps.
Yeah. And rewards too, if you, for Diana, if you follow your schedule all week, the reward could be, you get a lollipop or you go out for ice cream or, something, small. And so it's rewarding them for what they're doing. And so, and rewarding helps too. But
Like
don't reward with bad behavior though.
Yes, like the
Yeah.
kids, the video with the kids in the class. So the teacher showed them, not only them, but the whole class that what the good job they did and gave them a sticker. It was just a sticker, but for them, it was
It's the
like
greatest thing in the world.
a big thing. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that at home too. Like give them little something
stickers. Yeah, yeah,
to be listening. If you listen when the timer goes off, you get this after lunch or or whatever you set up that works for your family. I think that helps tremendous because the kids always want to award
yeah. Yep.
a
Yeah.
sticker or like a little popsicle or something that they like, or extra time of doing something outside or a special activity. I'll give you a surprise on Friday if you follow every single day, when they learn
Yeah.
how many days. It's become for them like a competition kind of deal,
Mhm.
that if I'm
Yeah.
good and
Yeah.
I'll get something. So
Right.
I think that's the best.
And
Like-
also too, if, he sticks or a child sticks with a schedule, you can get like, you get an extra half an hour of TV on the weekend. So if you know what I mean? Like, and that could be another reward too. Like, I know I can't watch anymore today, but I know that if I do this, I'm going to get extra time. If it's a rainy day, you get an extra half an hour. If you help mom with doing some chores or picking up stuff, that's, a reward. So always reward good behavior. And that's why positive encouragement is so important. Even if it's the smallest thing, like they ate everything on their plate. That was fantastic. You ate your whole entire dinner. Great job.
Someone posed a question.
Yep, I see that.
My daughter not social with people who don't know she's crying when she's meeting people. She cries when she meets people.
How old is she?
Mina.
Let's see.
How
How,
old is her daughter, Mina?
so yeah, so she's not social with people she doesn't know, and she cries when she meets new people. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Mina? I don't know if she's in a Spanish interpreter too.
It's also that comfort level too. I think she's 3 years old. Yeah.
Years old.
It could be shy. She could just be a very shy child. I would definitely keep an eye on that. I think more socialization will help her with that shyness. Introducing her to, more, I don't know if she's in a childcare setting or an early childhood program. More kids that she's around, she will be more not as shy. But if that doesn't change, I would definitely talk to the pediatrician about it. It goes away. It gets better.
Is that answer your question, Mina?
Okay, good.
Yes, she said,
good.
okay, good.
Yeah, definitely interact with other young kids, her peers, her same age. See how she does and see if she opens up a little bit. And then if you're still concerned in a few months, I would definitely talk to the pediatrician about it. Make sure there's no underlying cause.
Anybody else has any question or concern? I don't
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I feel like I could ask like 1,000.
Oh, ask away.
No, it's okay. I have 3 little ones.
Oh.
And we have 3, 5, and 7. We're going through some struggles right now with my 7-year-old. I personally think it is due to just like attention and being the oldest. And I'm sorry, my children had a half day at school today, so they're with me.
Join my party.
Oh yeah, my oldest one's still at school, praise the Lord. But so we're going through a lot of like outbursts, and listening has been a really big one with all of them. So like we get outbursts because we as parents get frustrated because we're asking like a task to be done several times. Say like showering at night is dreadful. Like the 5 and the 7-year-old, they can pretty much, my 7-year-old can definitely do it by himself. The 5-year-old, you kind of still have to monitor a little bit, but just telling my 7-year-old to go up and take a shower, it's like meltdown city. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Is it because he's tired?
I can tell the times that he's tired. Yeah.
Yep.
When he's like overly tired. It's definitely worse. Absolutely. When he's overly tired.
Right.
But it's like our nighttime routine, and just saying like, we have a serious nighttime routine where we sit down, we get our treats, we watch our little bit of TV, like we do the same thing over and over and over again. And it's still, when I say, we do, but every time I say it's time for bed, it's so much pushback. It's a fight. It's a 5 more minutes, 1 more episode. Like we usually do like the smaller things, either like short films or like Bluey type deals where they're like shorter.
Yep.
But it's still just like, from him specifically, like an uproar. It's mainly when he's with the other 2. Like when he's by himself, he's so much calmer, so much better. And it's just like he's acting out with the other 2, like really, like almost like not hurting them, but like he'll like say like quote unquote accidentally, if they're playing with the ball outside, he accidentally hit them with the ball, like that kind of stuff. And I know it's for attention. Yeah. And I don't really know kind of the best approach to it.
So 2 quick things. One, but he's looking for attention, because we know when we poke that's just, we're trying you to get to pay attention to us. He is the youngest, so he's, got 2 other ones that he's got to get through that attention. And he wants to be, sounds like he's close with a sibling, so he wants them to pay attention to him and probably do what he wants to do. So I think that, maybe taking your 2 siblings, and then maybe, doing special time, like, the 5 and 7-year-olds, they go out and do an activity together and omit the older one, kind of like rotate the time spent together, meaning in the sense that maybe 2 is better than 3, and that he's getting that one-on-one attention that he wants, because the other 2 could be wanting to play something else and he's kind of stuck out there. also maybe you doing like a him and you day, like you taking him out for a special activity, just you and him, and leaving the other ones home. Trying to like maybe separate the attention that you're giving him away from the other kids. I love that, and you're fantastic, that whole straight routine. And let me just make sure I heard this right. Does he take the shower bath first and then gets to watch Bluey?
Yeah.
Okay. So what, it's time to kind of, it's good for you to lay the law, like unless you take your shower, you're not going to be able to do A, B, and C. So you have to throw some consequences in there that, you have 15 minutes to get in there and do your shower, your bath. And then after that, you're able to watch Bluey. And if he doesn't do it, then you have to take Bluey away, because there has to be a consequence for him not doing what he's supposed to be doing and not listening. So he's going to know now, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to watch this because I can't get in the shower. So it's going to be tough, because you're going to have some meltdowns, but you can do this. But if you take a shower, there you go. If you don't, we have to take Bluey away, because that's the reward after taking a shower. Have you tried that?
I have.
And?
It is a meltdown, an
Yep.
absolute uproar.
Yep.
My biggest thing is we kind of, if we do that, we usually do it like military style, where if we're punishing one, the whole gang gets punished, because
Right.
if not, then it's like an even bigger uproar, because
Right.
this one gets, 5
So
minutes more of
maybe-
TV or whatever.
So maybe if you did his shower first.
Sometimes we
that-
do.
Okay. And how does that work?
It depends on the day. Some days he doesn't want to give up his time, but then if I try to like coerce him and I'm like, but you'll get more time because they'll get me in the shower, like sometimes that can work.
Right.
And then it's harder now because it's nice outside and my kids love to play outside.
Right.
So like, and
Yeah.
because it doesn't get dark till like 8:30.
Yeah.
So
It's still light out. What do you mean I have to take a shower?
right. And that's the fight too.
And can I say, Caitlin, I was working with a principal once, and she said to me, it's like negotiating with terrorists.
Absolutely. It really is. I swear it really
It
is.
is. But you're doing such a great job with the consistency. I mean, I don't have anything different than what you're already, because you're doing it great. It's just that it's going to take one, you're right. It's still light outside. I don't want to go take a shower if it's still light outside. But again, if you don't do this, then you're not going to get this. It's that maturity level too. And I think it's harder if it was just him. I mean, it's easier if it was just him, because he probably would just go and do it because he gets the reward at the end. But since the other siblings are already in the mix, it makes it harder. So, and then why should they give up their time because he doesn't want to get in the shower? But what you could do is also, is that if he does the shower 5 days in a row and he sticks to the schedule and gets it done, then he gets an extra time at the end of the week that the other two siblings don't get. You know what I mean? Like it's
Okay.
a little bit of a reward. Say, okay, so Monday through Friday, if you get in the shower and do what mom and dad ask, on Saturday, you get an extra episode of Bluey. But
Okay.
if
I never
no,
tried
then-
that one.
Yeah, try that. Because
Okay.
they know at the end, there's a reward. Try that and see how it is.
Yeah, that's definitely good because he
Yeah.
never forgets and is a big time.
Yeah, come back
kid.
next month and I want to know how it goes.
Yeah, no, this is great. Listen, my
Yay.
my background is in social work. I don't practice it now, like I don't do anything
Yeah.
with it, but it's so much easier that I found doing it with other people's children and giving
Yes.
advice. But when it's your own children, it's so
So
much more
different.
difficult.
Caitlin,
Yeah.
you're singing my song. I struggle all the time. And I'm like, this is my background and I can't even do it with my own child.
Oh yeah, it's because because I'm like, I always say, I'm like, the only reason that you're still alive is because you came from me. I know that probably sounds so horrible, but I'm like, that's literally the only
No, I
reason.
get it. And that's why I say it's like negotiating with a terrorist.
It
Yeah.
is for sure.
And I think if she used something that only him can do, like he's gonna feel like special, like something that will award in the end,
Yeah,
something that it doesn't include the other kids, like special to him,
right.
because he's like, he's thinking for attention. And if he does something, you know, you and mommy can go out
Yeah,
and a date or something, like even if it's just to get an ice cream, you know, make something special just for him only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. No, I really appreciate all of your advice. Thank you guys so much.
yeah, you're welcome. Come
problem.
back and see us next month. I want to hear how it went.
I will for sure. I love all this
Yeah,
advice.
great.
Yeah, just for everybody to know, in July, we're gonna be meeting again on July 12th.
Yep.
And we'll be here, so we'll be launching soon the flyer for everybody. And anybody else has any question before we end?
This is great.
I love
Yay. Oh
so
yeah,
much. I
you're,
love this
well, you're
project.
so welcome. You're so welcome. You guys have been so great. And we, I just said at the beginning of us talking, this is my favorite thing to do. And so, and I love to meet new parents and anyone that's joining us new. And so I'm excited. We
I'm
went over
gonna
to him today too, which is, I love that. That's great.
Oh, Erica, poor Erica's coming in and out. She's dropping. So, all right, I'm gonna stop on live on Facebook. Thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, have a great
Share and
rest
record.
of your week, 4th of July. Cheers to school being out. I feel bad for Kayla. I feel the pain.
Yeah, we have a week where they're all home and then they all go to camp. So
Yeah. We go to camp on Monday.
yeah, we have all next week and then they go to camp. So
Oh yeah, lots of
I
things.
might just look like death rolled over next week, but we'll make it.
Yeah, you'll do it. You'll do it. All right. Have a great